I'm one of them. And I had been strictly in the classroom instruction. I used Web Enhanced. I used Blogger for my web communication with my students. So I hadn't worked with any of these tools at all. And I initially went with what was before WebEx, the one that everybody says you can't use.
Zoom?
What was it? Yeah. So initially that, and that seemed to be fine, but I was going to hit that, I think it's 1 hour free. And so I switched over to WebEx. And I'm still talking last semester. And my goal was to try to continue my course as if we weren't distance. I wanted to continue the same kind of experience, interacting with my students in the classroom. Our typical sessions would be part lecture with a lot of hands-on demo, and that would be like the one day a week, and the second day a week is entirely lab. And that's where students come work on their projects and get assistance from each other and the instructor. So as I switched into using Memex, and I did it on not Memex, WebEx rather, I just continued my regular schedule. In other words, the normal meeting times, and I let my students be aware of that. And it was pretty straightforward transition for them because they were already accustomed to coming to the classroom. And it actually went very well, and the students were able to interact, and I think most of them in that semester did use the video, and I don't think I had any real challenges in terms of students that could not participate because of lack of technology at their house. So it seemed, and these were also a little bit more advanced courses as well. I don't think I was dealing with, I don't think I had program design development last semester, so I was dealing with mostly pretty seasoned computer programmers. So them and myself made that transition pretty straightforward. Again, my goal was to try to continue as if I was in a classroom. And rather than record sessions in advance, I did live lectures, live demos, and even for midterm or final review, it was, I recorded these sessions as well and then posted them in the classroom. And then as we transition to this semester, I continue the same process of scheduling these meetings using Collaborate. And this is a better tool because I can really see the quality of people's connections. And it just seemed like it worked pretty well. And what I did was when I set up my classes prior to the semester beginning, I went and scheduled recurring live Collaborate sessions for the 10 weeks for the summer. And I did them on Mondays and Wednesdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. At the same time the class would have been if I didn't have to switch to the online format 100%. And again, there's some success. The success works well when I get feedback from the students that, oh, I couldn't make the class, but I watched your video, and here's my homework. I followed your steps, and they can pause it. Things that they can't readily do in the classroom. Some students have attempted to try to record in the classroom, but it's not as the quality of a recording as recording one of these sessions. So. And then I also use it for my proctored events. So what I'm doing is when I have my midterm and final, I'm having my students join the session at a given time. And if they can't, I accommodate them. I come up with another time. Last night I had a student that didn't get out of work till 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, him and I had about a 2-hour session while he took the midterm rather. And basically I have them turn their camera on or send me an image. Now, that's a good question I have for the pros here. If I definitely can recognize a person's voice, people that I really know and I know that's their voice, does that count as if I saw them for the proctored event? So you still need like a photo, a copy of what their face or their badge. Cameron, you gonna answer? I look like
any kind of photo ID
will work. It can be the school ID, a driver's license, anything with their picture and name on it.
Okay.
Just in case SAGS ever comes around and says,
Gotcha.
we can say, yeah, we did it.
Right. And that brings up a good point. I should really record that session too and post it so that I have that evidence. So I just learned something I didn't do right. You know what I mean?
You actually don't have to keep evidence of the photo IDs
Oh, okay.
to be able to show that you did it. And if your instructions tell students to do it, then that's your documentation that
Very
you.
good. And was that one event or two events? I got confused about it. I thought it was two, but just one.
One
Okay. And it's a failure if they don't meet that requirement, right? So in general, I think it's successful. Lessons learned. Now I've got a couple classes that are down very small, maybe a student. And if that student doesn't attend, I'm talking to myself. And I've done at least one recording where I had the mic muted. So, you know, it's like I went through the whole thing and I was muted the whole time. But otherwise, I'm finding it to be pretty convenient to have, and I think there's value in having a scheduled time and, you know, encourage students to attend at a given time. I think that helps give some structure to the learning experience, and I think it would, for both sides, for the instructor as well as the student, and also give an opportunity for them to work together, collaborate. And I've got some great tips from students as they research problems and, you know, bring them up during these sessions. And so that's pretty much the experience in a nutshell. And if you have any questions about my experience, I'm open to questions. Or we can go to Scott.
My turn? All right. Mine's a little different than Joe's. I've been on Blackboard for a while, but I haven't. You know, when did Blackboard come out with Collaborate? I mean, has it been with us the whole time, or has it just been recently? So I haven't been using Collaborate at all. So, oh, I got a question for. Okay. Was that for Joe?
I'm reading it. It looks like that's more for Cameron.
Oh.
Actually, it looks like it's more for Ashley. We'll send it to Ashley, Jim, and let her get back to you on that.
Okay, so you want me to continue then?
Yeah.
So mine was a little different than Joe because I was on Blackboard prior to this shutdown, and I enjoyed Blackboard and the tools that it gave me at that point in time. The approach, though, that I've taken to my classes is I actually record all my lectures, you know, without the students. I actually record each chapter and I go through all that, and I put those inside Blackboard, those recordings, so that they can view them and work with them. But I also have a scheduled time twice a week that I have those classes that I get on, and I probably get about at the most 4 or 5 students in a classroom of 10. but they do get the lecture side, you know, because I have all my lectures posted. I go through examples, so all that is out there for the students to review. As far as the proctoring is concerned, you know, I've proctored 2 events actually in one class and 1 event in another class, so that seems to be going very well. I don't have a reoccurring course room, Blackboard Collaborate, like Joe set up. I have documentation on how to use just going into the course room during that time frame, and I just, you know, we just gather at that time. The only time I make any type of sessions, I create a session, is in advanced topics class when I need to invite somebody from another organization in, so that, you know, I can give them the link to get into it. So I have at this point in time 2 2 sessions that I have created for advanced programming topics that the students know to get into. Otherwise, all my classes we just go into that course room, to go into it. So it seems like it's been going very well. I haven't heard any complaints. During the proctoring, I actually inquire how well things are going, but I don't know how honest students will be when you're talking to you directly. They'll usually just sing some praises, but I like that. But anyways, I think it's been going pretty well, and I'm not sure if I just love the computers I have at home. I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to going back to school with the quality of the desktops that we have back at the school environment. So anyways, it's been great. It's been great. And as Joe said, any questions, I'm glad to field them. The other thing too is we had our advanced programming. I go a lot to that, but we had our advanced programming topics presentations for the spring. So those were recorded. I actually recorded them. Each one lasted about 20 to 25 minutes. And so what I wanted to do is just get an abbreviated so that we could do the presentation. So I use that Collaborate inside another Collaborate, so I could get those recordings, so I could bring it down from 25 to 5 minutes. I ran into some problems with the voice and the volume. What I did is I just took my headset and I put the speaker right inside the listening device, and it worked out great. I mean, they were able to hear it, and it seemed like it gave the volume good. So it worked out well in that area.
And I have one more thing I just remembered to share. When we initially started this semester, there was a little bit of confusion. Let me share something right now to show you what the confusion was. It was here, share, and I'm going to get that. Okay, and I'm going to go here. Can you see it? I'm in my Blackboard Collaborate Ultra in one of my units. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. So what I found was this is an example of one of those recurring ones. This thing recurs. So as a result, a student can accidentally go to the wrong one. I had a case where I had 2 or 3 students hanging out here in the course room, and me and a few other students are hanging out here on the scheduled one. So that's just one of the snafus that we ran into early on, and it just happened one time, but so there is a little opportunity for confusion when they do go to that spot and they see there's actually 2 things there. And I guess that's only because it was a recurring thing. But, and I'm just going through the learning curve on this process too. And that's all I had to add there.
Joe, I'm sorry, I don't know if you wanted my audio on or not, but on that one class, in the one class, Ron Morgerson, excuse me. So you set a Collaborate up for the whole semester, a given time for the whole semester, right?
Yes.
That you can have open for the students to,
yes.
For that. But then in addition to that, you opened up another Collaborate for a more specific topic or something, or how did
in general, I have a schedule. I have it recurring. So in other words, I pick a 10-week period because it's a 10-week semester, and I pick you pick what days of the week you want this to recur on. So I pick 2 days: Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then I copy that or put that in every unit. So every unit, and I'll go back and show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
Let me share.
I've got a sample. Yeah. So
I'll
you
show
have
you
a unit.
Yeah, and then so I'll go to this class here, and I am showing you my class right now, right? I go to my classroom.
Yeah, I got.
And in each unit, you'll see that Blackboard link, and they follow that, and then when they get it in there, that's where they see the recurring one.
Okay.
And Then what I do is after I've recorded one of these sessions, then I put it up there. Wow, I'm not seeing the recorded session. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
find out
not-
what's going on here. Bear with me just a minute. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to this class. That's weird. I hope they didn't go away. Yeah, so the live recording looks like that. So I put it right next to where that meeting was, and that's the recording of that meeting.
Okay. So the students who can't attend can go back and go through your recording for that particular unit, right?
And I've received good feedback from the students on that, and that's very helpful because much of what we do is hands-on, and just having a recording that they can, they go step by step, hit pause, and fix problems they had, back up the thing. So yeah, in that regard, it's actually an improvement over the classroom experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I guess it also affords flexibility in terms of, I have a student in the Navy. He's on virtual TDY, not TDY. Yeah, he's on virtual TDY. So he has times during the day he cannot disengage from his Navy activities. But using these recordings, he's not falling behind or anything. He's doing real well.
Well, that's the thing with online is gives the student more flexibility, and like you say, if you afford them the video, or the recorded session, they can go review on their time frame, and in case they can't meet the actual live, I guess, time period for the class. That's again, Joe, Scott, we've worked together a lot, so this online. I'm going to be doing online full for both my courses this fall semester. So, and I got into it last semester, when we shut down, and I got comfortable with it. And I've been on Blackboard since day one, So I'm pretty comfortable with that. I'm still picking up a few things, but I'm pretty comfortable with that. It's just now blending in this online scenario with Blackboard. So. So far, it's been pretty good. See how it goes come fall. But I didn't have too many issues with it in the closing of the spring semester. So.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see a question from Betsy. Are you going to handle that? I don't remember the steps. It was about a month ago. She's asking the steps how I set up that recurring session.
All right, so I don't have any recorded ones available. Mark, do you have any that you could share your screen and show?
Yeah, I can share my screen. Hold on one second.
What I was asking is how you actually put the link to the Collaborate recorded session in your classroom.
Okay, understood.
Folder.
Okay, I'm going to go back and look, see if I can remember how I did that.
So one thing I'll make a comment too, something that Joe had mentioned about the course room. In my sandbox, so this is the course room at the top he's talked about. By default in Blackboard, you have an automatic Collaborate shell created for you that's actually open the entire semester as long as the course is open. But if you find that that's causing confusion for your students and they're not going to these ones you set up, they're going to this instead, you can go to the three dots, you can lock the course room, and that'll prevent any students from going into this one. And then they're forced to go into these.
And Mark, what I'm trying to answer, maybe I can't find it right now. How did I add the Blackboard? And I'll go back to sharing again too.
Sure. Well, here's what you do. You would click there for the pancake icon, go to the recordings. Then I have to go to recordings and arrange. Where my recordings are. All right, so here's the recordings.
Right.
So now you can click any of these, watch now.
Gotcha.
And all you have to do is copy this link, because it's an open link that you can use anywhere.
Right.
And once you have the link, you go back into your classroom, build content and web link.
Web link. Right.
And that's all you do.
Yeah.
name it,
Okay.
and put a URL in.
Yeah, thanks. I misunderstood her that she was talking about the recorded session, right?
Right.
And then I move it right
is
next to it, right next to the actual collaborate thing, so that they know it's there. It's like,
right. That is a nice convenience for the students having it right there. You can also go to this collaborate show, and if you have it like right here, when I click the 3 dots, if I had set it up to, wait a minute, I go to a recorded session. Again, recorded in a range. So if you've set it up, when you set up the session to allow downloads, you'll let students be able to download right here if they wanted to download it for offline viewing. But if you see, I think I might have, well, if you don't set it up for download in the beginning, they won't be able to download it. And all it looks like. So go to create session. If you do want the students to have it for offline viewing, there is a spot you have to check. Allow recording downloads when you first set up the session. Otherwise, you'll never be able to download it for offline.
So they can download the session right to their computer and keep it there then, huh?
Correct. If you make this, when you first create it, you allow recording
Right.
downloads.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you.
And I'm circling back to answer Cameron. I think you probably asked me this question. Will I continue your collaborate sessions in the fall? And yeah, I think I have at least one class where I do plan on meeting for an hour in the classroom, and I would record that as well. In other words, even when we do go back to normal, if we do, I'd like to do the same thing. And that, I think I requested, I need a webcam and I need a good mic like I'm wearing around my neck right now, so I can do it right in the classroom. And that, again, that gives flexibility if they missed a in-person meeting, that they won't necessarily fall behind because they missed the whole lecture or the demo. In my case, the demos probably have more value to the student than the lecture itself, because it's a how to do it, step by step. So, yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, but to follow up, so you would use Collaborate, turn it on in the classroom with the students sitting in there as a means of recording your lecture to post it for anyone who missed or for them to go back and review later.
Yes, yes.
Cool.
Joe, I don't know if you share with them about how you scheduled those classes in Banner. Or
Yes. So what we did for that, and I'm trying to, did you have basically it's a given time and a room and building number, right? And
no, it was online. What
Say-
you did, we offered it online. It's an online class, but then you put a second line in for a collaborate session time, but it says online.
Gotcha. Right. In other words, it's still online, but I'm having an actual scheduled meeting time that's optional too, by the way, right? I believe when we go 100% online, we can't make a given time required. Right? So yeah, but the point of that still is that it does allow students to sign up for classes and deconflict their class times, because I put it down in the class that's when this one's going to meet. Because I've had at least one, because we didn't do that this summer, I had at least one student that cannot attend any of my live sessions because they are attending some other courses having a live session at the same time. So is that what you were asking, Tammy?
Yes, it was just an option that we're going to try this semester that ought to work.
So,
But
excuse me,
still sign up for your class because she can watch the recording.
Right.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I hope nobody falls in that confusion that you think, oh, I can't take that because it conflicts. But I just hope
Okay.
if they can avoid conflict and they want to attend. So that's Tammy and I struggle with how do
I
we
see.
communicate this, and we're using OWL. And is that mostly just CIST classes, Tammy, that are doing that? No? Okay. So in other words, that's how we're indicating that we are having planned meetings as well, even though it's online with the OWL under the section.
Quick question on that. I was a little lost here, but I understand what you were saying. You had in the banner in the course enrollment, you did specify a Monday, Wednesday, 2 to 3 or something like that, but that wasn't your concern is the students would get confused thinking they have to attend that online session or something, right? So, so can you send emails out to the students or well,
Right.
I guess it really is it's more an issue as they're looking to enroll in the class and
Right.
they
Yeah.
think they have a conflict. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I really wanted to be proactive, I could start emailing that class before the Blackboard's even set up, just,
Mhm.
keep them up to date. But you're right, there's still an opportunity for some period of time where they're not certain what we meant by this.
Yeah.
I guess that can happen.
It does say optional on the time part, though, right? Owl.
I don't know,
Owl.
Tammy. Tammy's looking at it, I think.
That's the way owl classes are coded in banner is the line says optional.
That would make it unambiguous for sure. I'm not sure if we did that.
That may be the one piece we needed to edit in that, because instead of using a classroom, we said online. I thought we had optional on there, but I'll check.
Right. So there's two scenarios, two cases, right? There's one where we do have an in-person meeting. Okay, that's for the hybrid. Or then there's the case where it's 100% online, but it's entirely online. So optional, yeah, it does. Okay, that brings up a good question. If the optional applies to both the scheduled in person, and I believe that's the case, right? We can have it scheduled in person, but we can't force them to attend. Am I right about that?
Are you talking about hybrids versus online?
Yes, yes,
Hybrids should be a required time to come to class.
required.
Online is not.
Okay.
Even with
Virtually?
COVID systems.
Well, let me rephrase that. If
Thank
your
you.
class, if your class warrants that they come every week to do the hands-on, then they would be required. And then how the classes are conducted is up to the divisions.
Yeah. And my preference, I'm only talking from my preference, it would be optional. In other words, if they can attend physically, because they still can attend, the meeting online and do it from home. But I just want to make sure they have an option. Some people just get a little, I don't know, stressed out that they lost contact with, the student, the fellow students and the instructor, and they really want to do, because we heard feedback from students that they really want to get back into the classroom. So I'm trying to accommodate both. And like you said, that I don't have the kind of class, unlike chemistry, for example, that their physical presence is mandatory. It's something that I want to offer them in addition to the online experience, if they can avail themselves of it.
Yeah, I was wondering, Joe, I guess the possibility of, like, if you were in class, doing a collaborate session for the students that wanted to remote, while face-to-face students can actually watch it projected onto the screen.
Yeah, that's right. And we do have the J-Touch giant screens in 2 of our labs. And I probably will really see if I can't make that work. But we haven't really practiced that yet. It does have the camera, It has only one drawback. Our J-Touch is not wireless, so I can't like project to it from the instructor workstation, which is a robust, high-end workstation, versus the one that's attached directly to the J-Touch is just a low-end, tiny PC that's not capable of doing half the things we need to do. So Tammy and I have been working through IT trying to, improve that situation. But yeah, definitely the J-Touch would give the opportunity for the students in the classroom to see the students that aren't in the classroom, and vice versa. They'd be seeing the classroom through the camera mounted on top of the J-Touch. Does anyone have experience using the J-Touch like this?
Now, one suggestion I might have for the J-Touch is just to unplug that cheap desktop they have taped to the back and just plug your own laptop straight to J-Touch. Because J-Touch is just a giant monitor.
Yeah, right.
We've done that in the other room as far as we attached it to a desktop.
Right.
Because
it's convenient. It's nearby.
Proximity. Yeah, the proximity accommodated.
But that's a good point, Mark. I can definitely make that happen. And yeah, now we have more of a reason to actually make it happen. Prior to this, we didn't.
I used it a few times, but I put files on a thumb drive and then plugged the thumb drive into that little processor there, and was able to do things with it that way, videos and certain things that I could put on a thumb drive, and I did use it.
I found the example on the class schedule if you want me to show that. If I can share my screen. I think I can share it. I have a dual screen here, so don't know if this will work or not. Can you see that?
I don't think you hit share yet. Up there it goes. Got it. I'm looking at it.
Okay, so you can see the class where it says optional lecture.
Okay.
Gotcha. See, that's unambiguous there.
Yeah, so it's an OWL class. It's an online class, but it has optional lecture online from 9 to 10.
Okay. All right.
I've last semester, when this is Ron again, Morganson. Last semester, I still got some lecture recorded sessions that I use for my lecturing in one of my classes, and I'm going to look at those, and I might try to incorporate or redo or whatever. But I was able to save some of the lecture times that I had from last semester. It's the same course, same material, so I'll look at that and see if I want to use that, or I probably will just re-record. But this was my first go at it here last semester.
And Ryan asked a question about. I don't think there's any time limitation at all. You just turn on the recording. By the way, this one is being recorded. I see you're recording this session, and the presenter turns on the recording. And I don't know of a time limit. Mark, do you know?
Yeah, I don't know if there is a time limit.
I mean, when you go out to set it up, I mean, I'm not sure there is. I mean, you can set dates, and I think it'll just sit there and stay in in active mode or whatever until you say I'm done or close it off.
There's not a time recording, because I know I've recorded a session that was 3 hours in the past, but and I can't imagine why you'd want to record more than a 3-hour long session, but I didn't want to say no, that there's no time limit and then you want to record a 4-hour session.
Always make sure your mic is on though.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've done that
absolutely.
too. I've been chatting away and everybody's looking dumbfounded like, what's going on here? What's going on? Yeah, you're right. I had to get
Yep.
used to that.
Yeah, one thing I would be wary on if the people are making a lot of recordings and collaborate, Blackboard's current answer is like, how long do you keep these recordings? And they say, well, indefinitely. We're going to keep them forever. But in my experience, that tends to change after enough people start using it and recording stuff. Servers get piled up, so they'll start some kind of policy that we're going to start deleting stuff. So it
Yeah,
might be a
good
good
point.
idea to download your own videos just in case.
That's the
Okay,
reason.
yeah.
Yeah. Every time I do this, I always do a recording and then I copy it and I keep it as a permanent.
I don't think I selected the box that said download though, so I'm not sure if I can download any of those recordings I did back last semester. But yeah, it's a good point. Just get them off of Blackboard and put them on, in somewhere where you can keep them in your
Of course,
computer.
the thing is you can't use those MP3 those recordings in Blackboard because they take up too much space. That's the reason why you have to.
Oh, when you download it downloads as an MP3.
Right. And
Yeah.
you can't use that because it's too large, and so that's the reason why you got to use that link.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the other alternative is you can like put it in YouTube or Microsoft Stream and then just embed it in the course. But you do need to put it on some type of cloud service, that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm not big on the cloud, I guess. I like my privacy. If you put it out there, I just don't.
Well, now if you put it on Microsoft Stream, you can lock it to just Augusta Tech people.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, I'll bring up a quick topic unrelated, but I got all these listeners. We do have access to Microsoft Azure. It's kind of related. I'm like the caretaker of that, and it's available to all Augusta Tech students, and it's basically based on augustatech.edu or smartweb.augustatech.edu. So if you need information on how to share that information with your classes, you can contact me. I've got them on my blogs and stuff. I could share that with you, but it's thousands and thousands of dollars of value that all of our students are entitled to. Visual Studio Enterprise Edition is like $6,000, and our students get the license, a real full license, free. So there's some pretty valuable resources available through the Microsoft Azure cloud.
PowerPoint's out there, isn't it? So they could. Even though it's not.
That's one of the things that is separate. Is Microsoft Office is in a different program. It's not part of the Azure program, but some of the tools are, as in Visio, I believe, and Project. I think it's just Visio and Project, but all the other Microsoft suite is elsewhere.
Yeah, I use both of those in my one class, Visio and Project. But Visio is a nice little tool for other classes. It's a graphical, it gives you a lot of different things that you can use and create graphs and drawings with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a programming environment or technical. It can be for other type courses as well.
Yeah, one thing I might add, just of a tidbit that I've kind of been following some websites that, I've kind of was even pre-COVID, I was following a trend of some companies going full remote with their programming staff. And now with COVID, it seems like the talk is the open office concept is dead. And the more people we can remote work, the better, as far as like programming.
Right.
Programmers, because programmers can work completely remotely.
Right. And when we worked with GIW last semester while Scott was doing the advanced programming topics, and what they've told us is that they just issued all their equipment to their employees and sent them home. and they're a global company. They're part of a German company, and so they're collaborating all around the world, all hours of the day and night, and they're reporting pretty good success. And they also collaborate very well with Scott and his class um, uh, throughout that project, right, Scott?
Yeah, yes, and like I said, we're changing our advanced topics class so that we do a virtual presentation instead of, we used to meet in the Georgia Cyber Center. I'd like to actually go back there, and see if we can integrate the two of them so that we can also have it virtual at the same time.
And the link I shared is where the students go to activate their account, and they just got to make sure they use their augustatech.edu email address, and they get $100 credit for stuff that would be charged, but they also have access to a whole lot of software licenses free. So if you have any need for Microsoft Azure, Microsoft products, I'd definitely look for Azure first. You're welcome. As an instructor, it's the same way. You just sign in with your augustatech.edu address, and there sometimes it's glitchy. If you already have Microsoft credentials in any shape, manner, or form, they're in there forever. And I had to actually go through some steps to get my old thing turned off. Or if you inadvertently sign up for the non-free plan, that locks you in, and you have to actually get a human to go ahead and knock that account out and to come back in again. So it should be pretty straightforward for the instructors to get in. But the caveat is provided you really don't already have access to Microsoft products in any of their other forms. It was Imagine, it was, oh my gosh, what was it called? MSDN. And I think even the old MSDN credentials are still part of this thing that Microsoft has put up. And so there can be glitches, and I'd raise my hand if you need help. Contact me. And we collaborate, at the state level between the colleges. So, this is managed by, the TCSG, and the subscription is available to us from the state.
Well, that was fabulous. I learned a lot. Thank you, guys. Does anybody else have questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. There was a lot of good information there, and like I said, I'm going forward. All we can do.
All right, well, we'll see everybody next time.
Okay, thanks for the session. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.